For my fourth and final video, I'm going to be demonstrating the use of my newest type of stylus, which is called an active stylus. And it looks like, again, sort of a ballpoint pen. But the difference with this stylus is that you do have to turn it on in order to use it. It has a recharging battery, and then it connects by Bluetooth with your particular device. And this particular active stylus does have a kind of squishy tip on one end, which I could use if I wanted a really thick line. But for the most part, I just really like the fine tip on this one. Now, very quickly, I wanted to show you that I opened this particular document back up from my folder. So when I open a document in PDF Expert, unlike Note Shelf, I can go ahead and pinch and zoom, do whatever I need to do with it, and I'm not really in annotate mode. And then if I want to start working with it, I come over to my toolbar and I click on what I need there. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more highlighting. So I'm going to click on my highlight icon there. And again, it's showing me a box with the print enlarged so I can tell what it is that I'm highlighting. And you may notice that when I just touch on a word with this stylus, it is automatically highlighting that whole word. I don't necessarily have to draw that highlighting over each word as I do with Note Shelf. PDF Expert really captures individual words with highlighting really easily. So when I was doing some reading of articles this past summer, I almost always chose PDF Expert because I really just liked the way you could highlight in it. And then when I go back to pens, I did want to show you a little bit about some options within the pens. So there is thickness as an option. In PDF Expert, it is set by point sizes, and there's a slider that allows you to increase the point size. And this is just the thickness of your line. This has nothing to do with the font of the actual print. The second circle up is the transparency of the line. And so this is useful if you or your student needs to do some writing above or really on top of the text that's already there, and maybe you still want to see the text underneath it. The transparency goes from 25% to 100%. So I'll demonstrate what 25% looks like. And the third circle is just, again, color. Unlike Note Shelf, you can't change anything about this color palette. It just is what it is. So I'm going to leave it at that color. And then if I write a word over the text, you can still see the text underneath it. Now, I doubt that many of my students would really use that a lot because it does decrease the contrast so much. So I'm going to go back to 100% transparency and then do some writing here. And I find that, again, with this stylus, I don't have any problem with having to keep the tip in contact with the screen. It just makes a nice consistent line. It's very much like a pen. I really have been waiting years to see a stylus like this. It really, you can make very fine writing with it. Now if I did want a thicker line, I can still get that by moving my point size like this. But if I want that thinner line, it's very easy to just use my slider and go back to a thinner line here. If I want to do a quick doodle, I can add that there. So that shows you a little bit about the active stylus and the other styluses and the two options of the two apps. I hope it was helpful to see some of it in action. Of course, there are lots of features that I didn't have time to demonstrate in just a short video for each one. But I encourage you, if you can, to try out these two apps and see which ones you like better. The other thing I was not able to demonstrate is scanning a document and then annotating it. But it would function, if you scanned it, it would scan it to a PDF file and it would function very much like these other documents. But I will say that scanning with the iPad sometimes is difficult for students. Scanner Pro, which is bundled with PDF Expert, is a little more forgiving in terms of the angle that you're scanning at with the iPad. But usually with some practice, students can get pretty good at it. All right, well, enjoy, and I hope this was helpful.